Hi guys! So today I want to address something that people have been asking me about. And I've basically been saying, hey Beck, now that you're married, are you going to continue to do a singles ministry? So some of you guys know I have a BSSM singles group, revivalist singles group, and I'm actively working super hard to try and set up a platform where you guys can meet and date and meet other revivalists because my heart really is for getting people, kingdom singles together. And so, I mean, you can probably tell from my passion that I'm still just as passionate about it, if not more. And so that's what I've been telling people. I'm like, I'm actually more passionate now that I'm married. Like I just got married. I've been married for 3 weeks. It's been super incredible. But I'm just as passionate now, if not more, than before. Because I was single for 13 years. I didn't even have a date, guys, for like 5 years in that time. And so I came to BSSM and I was like, wow, there are so many amazing people here who love Jesus. Like where I live, there was no one. There was literally no one around. Like you look at me, like, where are all the dudes? Where are all the people who love Jesus? And the ones I were meeting were not sold out. They were not on fire. And so I was like, I'm convinced this is the most amazing place in the world to meet someone, or any ministry school is the most amazing place in the world to meet someone because you have people who are like-minded, they're on fire, lay down loves of Jesus. And I'm like, how can we get these people together? Like, why are so many of them single? There's too many. And if we want to transform the world through amazing, godly, healthy families, it starts with godly, healthy marriages and godly, healthy people. And so I'm like, we can do this. We can start this movement. And so right now, seeing how incredible marriage is, I'm like, it's been super tough. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like it's all been fun and games and like super easy. It's been pretty challenging. But I'm also like, this is incredible. I'm still getting used to being married. I don't super feel married yet. I kind of feel like I'm dating someone and then my best friend, but I get to hang out at their house and like sleep over. So it hasn't quite like hit me yet. I'm like, yeah, I'm totally married. Also, it doesn't help that we've only been together 4 months in total. But anyway, that's a story for another time. If you followed our story, I have posted about it on YouTube, so you can actually see that's part of the story. But yeah, I feel like my resolve is so much stronger. I'm like, I want to help you guys find this person as well. Like, this is so great. This is covenant. Like, this is what God intends. I totally believe it's his design. And now I'm like, how can I help other people to have this? Because if you guys don't know, I actually started these singles groups when I had a boyfriend. It wasn't Nick, it wasn't my husband. It was somebody else. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, I want to help everybody else to have what we have because this is super fun. We ended up breaking up and I had, I think like 6 to 8 months of just being single. And I loved it. I was so hopeful. Oh, actually, probably wasn't like 8 months. It was like probably close to 6 months. But I've never felt so much hope. I didn't feel when we broke up. I felt like, you know what? I totally trust the Lord. He has an incredible person for me. I really didn't get into hopelessness. I didn't feel super down about it. Except for the day Nick ended up asking me out. That was the one day in that entire time where I was like, I'm losing vision for this. What is God doing? But other than that, I really was like, God is amazing. He's got someone incredible for you. And I really stayed in that place. And so my heart is like, oh, I want to help other people get to where I am and like what the Lord is doing in my life because I know that he created two to become one. Unless you've been given the gift of singleness, like that is actually his plan. And he's created you for family and to populate the earth. And how do you populate the earth? Through marriage, because you have sex in marriage. So all that to say, I'm like, yes, I totally believe this is God's plan. And my heart is to get incredible, charismatic people like yourself, if you're watching this, together so that you can actually have an incredible legacy. And we've already had quite a few couples come from these sites, but I felt like the Lord was saying, hey, it's time to stop playing small and actually start to enhance your focus, enhance your gaze, and get bigger in your mind. Because I'm like, these Facebook groups are great, but I want people to meet faster, quicker, easier, better than sending a Facebook message and then like hoping the person will see it. And maybe they see it like 2 months time and you already have a boyfriend by then or they have a girlfriend by then. And it just like, it works and it's fun, but it's like way more messy and way more complicated than if you just have a dating platform. So I'm just as committed, if not more, to single sites. The groups that I have, we're going to be bringing out a few other things, which I'm super excited about. We want to start connecting people on a more regular basis, setting things up, setting up practice dates. So you guys can actually get used to talking to members of the opposite sex. I found people have even said, hey, I might not have found like my husband yet or my boyfriend yet, but I'm just loving talking to amazing godly men or women. And it's making me see that they are out there. It's giving me hope. I'm getting more comfortable. And we want to really combat that lack mentality through these practice dates. So, you know, for somebody who might be asked out once every 5 years, that one date is this like massive big thing. We're putting all of our eggs in that basket, and we're like losing ourselves in fantasy and like, oh, is this the one? And it's like a job interview and it's super high stakes because it's not happening that often. And so like, hey, if we can even just start doing practice dates, or, you know, they might eventuate into real dates. We're calling them practice dates to keep them like super low stakes, super fun, and just being like, hey, I'm actually going out with people. I'm actually getting to know people either in person or online. And it's super fun. I recently set up one of my friends with 3 different lovely ladies, and I love doing that. And this person is getting out there. He is learning how to date well, being super honoring. All the ladies are like, we had the best time. He was super honoring to us. He told us, hey, you know, where he was at with, you know, getting to know certain other people as well. But it was just a really good experience for him to step out in boldness, to get to know new people, and to be like, oh, there isn't a lack. There's actually really incredible women in my area. And so it really combats that lack mentality and brings hope. And then we want people to actually really date. So we're hoping some of these practice dates might become real dates. But practicing makes it so much more low stakes. So we're going to do some of those. We're going to do events, online events, guys. We're going to do our speed get to know yous. We don't call them speed dating. It's way less high stakes than that. Way more fun, I think, personally. Getting to know new people, again, learning how to step out, learning to relate to members of the opposite gender, even just making new friends in a really chilled, fun way. It's not like this big, grand thing where I've got to like convince somebody to like me and like there's a one person I get to speak to a year or whatever it is. No. But we've seen some awesome fruit come out of those as well. And so now we're looking to take it to the next level, which I'm super excited about. We have had a little bit of a delay. Unfortunately, we've gone through another developer. Guys, I'm so committed to this, but it is a lot of hard work. It does take money, it does take time, and it takes a lot of effort, to be honest. And so I have rallied a team. The biggest praise report recently is that I have 2 admins that have come on, and we currently hopefully are about to bring on somebody to do event management so they can actually help us to take things to the next level with matchmaking, with organizing practice dates, with doing this kind of stuff, because we want to get you guys meeting. My heart is to help as many of you guys meet as possible, and we're going to create platforms to do that, and we want you to like meet in the most healthy way as well. So you are healthy, thriving, you're secure in your identity, you've worked through past hurts, you know who you are, you know how to deal with triggers when they come, because they will come in dating. And I really do find that the Lord uses dating to sharpen us. And so it's not just to find a husband or wife, it's actually to grow us more, to be like him. And the things that we like, oh, we never thought this was a problem in dating, they really come out because you're with someone so much more than you're even with your best friend. You might see your best friend, I don't know, 3-4 times a week, but when you're dating someone, you usually see them quite often. And so they're sharp. Oh, they're pressing up against stuff. Oh, I'm being triggered. This is coming up in my heart. This is coming up in my heart. And I'm actually having to deal with it. So dating is actually usually a lot harder than being single, honestly. And it was for me too. And it was great. And it was beautiful and it was super beneficial. But it required a lot more stretching and growth when I was just on my own, doing my own little thing, and not much really stretched me because no one was around enough to really push my buttons. But my husband's pretty good at that. And it's been super stretching. I'm like, Jesus, I'm just trying to make me more like you, and I love it, but it's so hard. You know, it's a good process. And so that the other part of it is helping you guys to be as healthy as possible when you do that. And so we have people who are coming on as teachers to teach incredible modules. We have interviews, we have love stories that I've been compiling, everything that we can to bring hope in the area of singleness, that there are incredible people out there. And that God has an amazing plan for you in this, an amazing destiny, and he wants to partner with you in order to bring it about, and then to help you to be as healthy as possible. Because honestly, like, you can be with the most amazing person, and if you haven't sorted out your heart, like, you will self-sabotage, you will things will come up and you'll run at the first sign of pain or the first sign of conflict because you haven't learned how to do conflict management. And conflict is not a sign that you're not meant to be together. You're actually looking, when you're in a healthy place, you can actually see things from a healthy perspective and be like, hey, we're not compatible, as opposed to, oh my gosh, you're triggering me and I have to run. And so that's our heart. That's my heart specifically with Agape. And so just know we are working for you. We are working harder than ever. In May, I graduate from second year and I am all in. I'm going to be running hard after this to see what we can put in place to help you guys, because I believe that God has an incredible destiny for you in this. I believe that legacies are going to come from these groups and from these platforms that actually change generational lines. Like you or whoever else, people will meet their spouse. I'm just declaring it's going to be you. Come on. They will meet their spouse and it will change their family lines. Their generations will be blessed because this couple was their great-great-grandparents. Incredible Bible-believing, Holy Spirit revivalist, charismatic, going after Jesus with all that they had. And my heart is to help you guys find each other and to be as intentional in that process as possible. And so, yes, I am not giving up. Yes, I'm married now, but my resolve is even stronger. And I went through this exact process. And if you guys were in the group, especially BSSM singles group from the beginning, you would have seen me journey through that. Like the day I broke up with my ex, I did a Facebook Live and talked you guys through like how to end in a really honoring way and what happened. And then going through my journey of like, oh, I think I'm going to start dating again. I feel like I've got the green light on that and talking about how I had hope for the future that God had for me and receiving a prophetic word that I'd be married within 6 months. And then literally, 5.5 months later, I was married to my best friend who I had never thought about or even considered in that way. And even when in my heart caught fire, I was like, what? No, not him. Like, what? What's happening? No. Anyway, and so you guys, I literally have tracked that entire single journey. And now I'm on the other side of marriage. And I'm like, wow, this thing that I waited so long for is incredible, but it's not exactly how I was expecting it. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys more about that, talk about expectations, talk about our fantasies, girls, these things trip you up. They used to trip me up and actually staying present and the beauty of staying present. Anyway, I get really rambly when I'm excited, so apologize. So all I have to say, not going nowhere. Yes, I'm married, but I'm even more committed because honestly, marriage is the most amazing gift from the Lord. Getting to choose someone every day and having them choose you every day when you're like not looking cute. I don't look like this in the morning. And right now I barely have like any makeup on, but I still look better than I do in the morning, I'm just saying. And when you have like morning breath and people like super getting on your nerves and like you're like, no, I want the blanket here, and they're like, no, I think it looks better here, and you're like, oh, this is the biggest frustration of my life, when it's really not that big of a deal. But it's it is not what I was picturing, but it's better. And so for my heart is really to bring you guys a really accurate look of marriage. We're going to have incredible love stories that we're going to tell. And we are called to co-labor with Christ, but I really believe that we're called to co-labor in marriage as well for the ministry and the mission God's put on us. And so I know you guys have a ministry and a mission inside of your heart that God is actually bringing somebody into your life to co-labor for. And for me, my part, I'm like, I want to help you find that, because I actually didn't even know what Nick's calling was when we started dating. I heard the Lord, I really felt Jesus on it, and I went for it, and I was just like, let's see what happens. And then about a couple of weeks in, I was like, hey, like, what's the call in your life? Like, what do you actually feel called to? And it married up with mine so perfectly. And I was like, wow, we are actually going to do mission together. This is ministry and mission, and we're going to be on it together. And so, yeah, that's what God has for you. And that's what we're finding for. And that's what I want to help you guys with. So not going nowhere. You guys are stuck with me, and this ministry will not die. In fact, I foresee it growing exponentially, because that's my heart for you.